Hi guys, welcome. I'm going to try and do a weekly weekend review video style with touch on a couple of key points, key topics out of the weekend of Sydney Metro racing. On a Saturday, I'll go across sort of where the runners, the winners come from, and I'll touch on a couple of key points. I'll try not make it too boring. I'll just sort of give the information out that I found handy and probably the best information to find us a winner in the next couple of weeks. The video and the weekend review is brought to you by the Barrier Attendant, run by myself. If you've got any questions or you want to sign up, please hit me up. All times and rating sectionals courtesy of punting form. So I'd just like to put that out there, pay my respects to that. I'll start off with just a couple of quick key things out of the weekend, the advantages, disadvantages, where the races will run, merit and forgive file. I'll then proceed and just give my sectional or star performer of the weekend, and then I'll just run through 3 or 4 quick topics that I want to touch on with a couple of video replays to help that out. And then I'll just round it out with a couple of horses that I want to follow out of that week of racing. So I'll get underway and start. The meeting obviously was Rosehill, rails out the 6 metres on the 5th of the 6th. Generally, most Sydney punters know rail out Rosehill. It tends to play those on pace, especially in the sprinting races. Staying races, you can obviously make a little bit more ground and come from further back in the field. But the clear advantage there on Saturday was on pace, lanes 1 to 5 in the straight. That's where we saw majority of the winners come from. Disadvantage back wide in the straight. It was a pretty easy advantage and disadvantage to find this week. Through the races, the winners, 5 out of 9 sat on pace. 5 out of 9 of those ran rails in run. 9 out of the 9 winners, which is the key point to take out of the weekend, sat in that 1 to 6 metre or 1 to 6 lane in the straight. It was very hard to make ground out wide coming down those outside lanes. So that was the biggest thing to take out of recording the data. Merit and forgive file. I think Wicklow was an outstanding win. We can follow that horse. Tycoonus and Dynamic Impact come through the same race. They were massive forgives. Both held up. Tycoonus was a good thing, licked. He gets a touch more luck. He wins quite easily. Excuse me. John O'Shea trained Berdebeck. He's ready to win. I think John was on radio and prior to the meeting saying he's a run short. Warrior Falls just never got peace, never got clear running. We had to check off hills a long way and just went down. I think that was a forgive run, and Rosehill backed off the map in the first. It was back wide, which was a disadvantage against the pattern of the day. So the money support was there. So I think that was a forgive run for mine. Star performer, I think it was pretty easy. I think it was majority of people's star performer of the day. Wicklow, second up. Chris Waller Import went to a new level there on Saturday. As we can see, he gets a peach of a ride here. Off the rails and comes from 3 horses back, which was hard to do on the day and probably closes out on the widest you want to be in the straight. But the sectionals were outstanding. Last 600, 34.28. Last 400, 22.84. And last 200, 11.64. His last 600 was some 2.7 lengths faster than his closest rival. And what made the win even more dynamic or dominant was he did it off the slow tempo. They went some 6.7 lengths slower to the 600 against the average. So it's not like he sprinted hard off a nice speed up front. He's come off a slow speed. So in my head, I'm thinking if he gets a more generally run race up top, he probably wins by even further. I think he's a very nice horse, and to do it in your first prep overseas as an import, like we see, they normally tend to take that first prep and then they come on a second prep, but he's doing it all in his first prep, so he's a very nice stayer to follow. I'll move on and we'll go through a couple of topics that I wanted to touch on. Topic 1 was the strange betting race. Caught me off guard in the first. I backed and I thought Cape Brenton might drift to say that 250. His price in the morning at 9 a.m. was $2.10 courtesy of Tab. I thought he might get to that 230, 240 range, but he SP'd or BSP'd $3.87. The drift was sensational. I know you could get 440 some places. He got the perfect run by Tommy. Tommy stated on radio after the race he got a bit lost in front, but when he saw that second horse come, He really kicked into gear and charged home. Rosehill, like I said, out the back in the yellow. I'll just get the replay of that again. Was backed into favouritism off a very nice Kembla run, back wide and had to come down the unfavoured far outside. Peaked on the run late. I think that's a total forgive run for that horse. Just pen that. And David Payne's horse here, $6,000 purchase, finds the line very well, very green, bred to get further. Potentially a horse you might want to follow out of that. But yeah, I just thought it was a very bizarre betting race in the first. Topic 2, I'll move on to the forgive runs of Tycoonist and Dynamic Impact. I'll point them out in the run. They're pretty easy to find. I think most punters have Tycoonist in the red silks at the back and Dynamic Impact in the yellow chest, red sleeves, just about there. Tycoonist does get through, slowly but steadily does get through. Something licked, Dynamic Impact, not sure he wins, but he definitely finishes a lot closer. Key was also a forgive run, sat wide throughout, had to come down the outside and just peaked on his run, but we can see Tycoonist get through here. Should have won by absolute miles. The key point out of Tycoonist I want to follow, he's a horse who's versatile. He can, if he draws a nice barrier, he can sit on pace and dictate or sit in that first half, which is obviously it's a lot easier to win up on pace, take the luck out of the equation. So he definitely follow that horse, wet or dry, and Dynamic Impact. I pen that run. He might come up nice odds next start. Topic 4 I wanted to chat about was the run of Ramstein. I think on face value, a lot would have been disappointed. He had the perfect map run in transit that suited the day. And I think majority of us probably left a little bit flat if you backed him after watching the run. But just want to highlight how fast he went up front. And I think he's gone absolutely enormous reviewing the data to finish 4th and to hold on for that position. He's a horse who the stable's been very bullish about him needing a dry track. It was a soft 6 there Saturday, so another key impact on his run, which we can take further forward. He's gone some 8.5 lengths faster than the all-average benchmark to the 600. The average for that grade of race is minus 1.9 lengths, so he's gone some minus 6.6 lengths against the class of this field. So he's gone absolutely enormous to the 600. He's gone just to hold on here. If you were sort of holding a ticket, you'd think he's home by the pattern of the day. Shadowcross gets an ideal run, comes off his back, goes bang. Smart Image gets the A ground up the inside, and that's why we see him close off so well. And these horses sort of towards the outside, they grind home in the inferior ground. But I thought Ramstein to hold on for 4th. He was an enormous run. Dry track where he can dominate out front next start. He'll be very, very hard to beat. And I think plenty of punters might jump off him. Topic 5, I just wanted to mention this. I thought it was clearly the ride of the day by Rhys Jones' apprentice. He's on a very big upward spiral. As we can see here, he wins the race in the first 50 metres, but I want to point something else throughout the race as well. The market told us he was going forward. He was $5 backed into $2.90. Was one of the bigger goes of the day that landed for punters. Rhys Jones, here we go, nice and positive out of the barriers. But just want to watch what he does once he finds the lead. And I think many punters probably thought he's gone super quick throughout, but he puts the brakes on here, gets a beautiful mid-race slowdown. He's gone a very even splits. They didn't go hard up in front, like I said, and he's only gone minus 2.5 lengths against the average out in front. We can see this in the back end of the races where we see rivals try to charge at him, and he records the fastest last 200 of that race, 11:28. That just shows how well rated Rhys Jones was on this horse. Was absolutely outstanding ride, and clear ride of the day for mine, and punters would have been rejoicing after the heavy go. But as we can see here, just as the rivals start to get on his back, Majestic Shot kicks away, and just shows how well of a ride Rhys Jones was. He's on a big upward spiral, and I'm guessing he'll be riding plenty more city winners. That's the videos I wanted to touch on. A couple of quick points there that show a couple of runners we can definitely follow out of the meetings. and hopefully back next start for a win. Horses to follow. Like I said, Ramstein, Tycoonus, they're 2 key horses I'll definitely follow next start. And one out of the midweeks, I'm not sure if you caught it, punters, but Warwick Farm, race 2, Vern, sat 3 wide the trip, was very solid in the market. Sat 3 wide the trip and was too good, careered away. He's a beast of a horse. I think he'll come back a very smart 3-year-old. Gives me those Prague vibes of 12 months ago. So I think he's a very smart 2-year-old that we can follow into his 3-year-old year. I'm not sure if he'll have another start or where he'll head, but he's very nice. That's all. Hopefully you gain some information out of this. I'll try to keep it up, like I said, each week. And I might have a little segment at the end just for questions to fire in about the meetings that you'd want to know. I'm not going to answer them at the end, but I just wanted to be quick, sharp, and informative. So any feedback, punters, just put it in below. But cheers for tuning in, and I'll speak to you next week. Cheers.